Today I will teach you how to replace the shell in your Game Boy and make it look like this. Today we have this yellowed Game Boy in rather decent condition. However, this shell is in poor condition, so we're going to replace it with this new clear green shell. Though I bought this console as junk in my recent Sendico pickup, the console was still functional and just needed some lines repaired, so I did that and I repaired the lines. This video will not be teaching you how to do that, so make sure your system is working first. So you are going to need a Philips 0-bit being the most standard, and a Y 1.5-bit, maybe a bit of variance there. Take the 1.5-bit and try and unscrew these 6 screws on the back side of the system. Make sure you're not stripping or going too hard at the screws, as they are quite old and will strip quite easily. Your console may be trying to push itself apart. That is because there's this ribbon cable here. Now pull down and it should come right out. Now you have 2 halves. Please take the front half and prepare it. Take your screwdriver or swap it to a Phillips 0-bit. Unscrew the various Phillips screws here. There are many, but it's rather easy. Take a blue pick tool like this one and loosen up the edges of the board. This will be difficult if your system has not been opened before, as it will try to be stuck to the front. There are some rather high screw posts the board sits in, so make sure to be gentle. Make sure to also keep note that if your system has had missing lines repaired, this black foam piece will try and separate itself. Now take the back part and remove these 4 Phillips bit screws. Once the screws are removed, remove the motherboard in a similar fashion to the front board, kind of lift it up at the wheel and wiggle it out. And if you've taken out your motherboard, you should try and clean out the power switch and clean up the board generally with some isopropyl alcohol. Now take your new shell and let's open it. The lens is loose and I tried to get it to fit, but it won't do it. So on the back here, I can just sort of open this up. The packaging for yours may differ if you're using a different shell. So here we have a bag of screws and some buttons. Here we have the new lens. That is nice, pretty sweet. You're going to need to use the screws in this, by the way, so make sure you open that. We'll get to that later. The quality of this shell is rather high, honestly. Makes sense they've been able to replicate this more, but this shell is rather neat, and even in the back here you have some new battery contacts, which I didn't actually notice, so that's nice. Put that battery cover back. Alright, so first step, you're going to need to open up the little bag they give you. Here we have some new black buttons and some screws. With these screws in mind, you are going to need to sit here and organize these, because this is important. There are some Y screws that go on the back half. Make sure to note this. Organize the screws this way, because if you try to put the original back in, it may be rusted, and it's just probably a better idea to use the new ones as they are new. Make sure to use the Phillips ones on the inside and the tri-wing ones on the outside again. So Also, if you're using latex gloves, you might want to push up the edges of your fingertips. Alright, so now you can take your power switch and put it there, take the motherboard and align the power switch in the same fashion, and lower it in the reverse fashion that you lifted it out. The motherboard should fit the exact same way it did in the other shell. Take 4 Phillips bit screws and put them in the holes respective. You may want to tighten it down, loosen it, and then tighten it back in as you are trying to build the screw post, as it's never been screwed into before. So if you want to make sure that your screw post will last longer, make sure to do this. Once those screws are in, you can take the front half and start working on that. So first off, you're going to want to put the buttons in, the A and B button. There we got the B, the A button. Those are pretty nice. Then we can put the D-pad in. That's a nice D-pad. Now we can get the membranes out. They did supply some normal colored ones, but I had these black ones sitting around since I was given a couple Game Boy parts for a subscriber gave me some, so I've decided to use these finally and put them into a build. So let's put them in here and so we can have a nice matching color scheme. Once those buttons are in the way you want, you can now take the front motherboard and lower in the position in the exact opposite fashion that you removed it earlier. You can just sort of lower that in the place, and if your black bar isn't loose, it shouldn't fall out of position. Make sure to have the speaker in position. Now you're going to take the Phillips bit screws and lower them in every single hole. This is going to take like 5 or 10 minutes maybe, but it will take a little while, but make sure to tighten and then loosen each one of those screws. I didn't show it in the editing because it would take too long, but just make sure to do this because it's the best you can possibly do for the quality and the life of your shell. Once you finalize putting the last screw in and making sure yet again to retap and untap those screws. Now take the back half and take the front half and do a reverse fashion of what you did earlier and sort of make sure the buttons are in the position that you want because sometimes they will misalign themselves. Push the connector in like this, make sure it is sufficiently in there. Now you're going to need to push the cable down back into its original shape and sort of smush the front and back halves together. This will be a little tricky to do as it will constantly be trying to push itself out. Take the Y bit and take the 6 Y bit screws and put it onto the back half. I unfortunately am not going to show it here, but this screw, I believe the one I'm screwing in right now, I didn't untap and retap it, and I ended up causing a crack there. I did it for the other ones, and I didn't do it for that one for absolutely no reason, so now I have a crack on the system, so that's rather unfortunate, but I believe somebody will buy it and enjoy it nonetheless. I will make sure to note that, however, before they purchase it. Once the last screw is in, you are finally completed with screwing, and now all you have to do is inspect and make sure the system works. Once you're done with that, you are going to wipe off the front screen with a microfiber cloth of sorts. Prepare your new lens. Now I did this because I wanted to make things quicker, but I used a craft knife to remove the front lens's sticker. I highly suggest you don't do that. Now wipe off the screen one last time and fit this lens in the position, and boom. That is really nice. It'll have this little thin little protective sticker on it like a screen protector, so remove that if you want. So you can take the little EXT cover thing and put that in the position. And now take the battery cover and put it on. This build turned out really amazing. I really like how it looks. The quality of the shell is much better than I was actually expecting, and the system is fully working. I was able to restore one of the systems I got from Sendico. Next up, we have the one that is Roadkill. I will wait until this one sells at a local event happening in a few weeks. I'm extremely excited for it, and so I'm bringing this system in hopes that somebody will buy it and enjoy it rather than me, because I have no purpose for it as I'm not looking for one. I'm really glad I was able to fix this one up. So anyways, please subscribe, like, and comment, and please let me know down in the comments below if you were able to reshell your Game Boy. So see you guys next time. Have a great day.